The weekend before last, the 49ers lost to the Packers 30-28. In stunning fashion, the Packers kicked a field goal to win the game, and I'm going to be breaking down the last drive of this game and showing where the 49ers faltered on defense not once, but twice in order to let Mason Crosby kick the 51-yard field goal to win the game. But before we start with that, let's just look at the last play of the 49er drive and break that down as to why it became successful. Looking at the formation on the field, we have two receivers on the left side, two receivers on the right side, with the Juszczyk out of the backfield on 1st and 10. Remember, the 49ers have 48 seconds here on the clock. The Green Bay Packers have no timeouts. So the goal is probably to milk the clock, get inside the 10-yard line, as Kyle Shanahan actually said in his postgame. Milk the clock, get inside the 10-yard line, and then win the game without letting Rodgers touch the ball again. You'll see on this play, Mohamed Sanu is going to go into motion. So he slides in to the left of Deebo Samuel on the right side. So this is now the new formation. Deebo Samuel, his job here is going to go straight up the seam, and he's going to settle in inside the end zone. So he's basically the decoy on this play because he wants to take away that safety. The goal, I think, on this route was first Mohamed Sanu, then Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk is going to follow Samuel, go a couple of inches to the right of him, but he's going to take an out route and settle right near that 5-yard line or a little in front of that 5-yard line on an out route, taking away the corner on the outside and maybe even the linebacker here, or sorry, not the linebacker, but the cornerback right here, number 38. And Mohamed Sanu, his goal, he's going to fake to the outside and then he's going to cut back inside. He's going to work against Devondre Campbell here. But that was the right side. That's what Jimmy Garoppolo first initially wanted. Let's see how that plays out. We see Brandon Ayuk here, Deebo Samuel here. Deebo Samuel is going to go to the end zone and settle. Brandon Ayuk is going to try and cut out to the outside, and he's going to draw Jair Alexander with him. But Jimmy Garoppolo, he's looking right now at Mohamed Sanu. This cornerback here falls off Brandon Ayuk because he sees Jimmy Garoppolo's eyes, and Devondre Campbell is in perfect position because he's blocking away the inside. And that's where Mohamed Sanu wants to go because they want to get inside the 10-yard line, but they also want to save, or not save, but run the clock as well. So that's where Mohamed Sanu is trying to go. Jimmy Garoppolo sees the double coverage that's going to come against Mohamed Sanu, and he is going to now, one sec. You see right there, his head turns because he sees Mohamed Sanu being covered by Devondre Campbell, and Adrian Amos is playing pretty loosely against Kyle Juszczyk here. So he's going to dump Kyle Juszczyk down with the check down. Juszczyk catches the ball at the 7-yard line, and he muscles forward for the touchdown. So that's how the 49ers got the lead because Robbie Gould makes the extra point after that. He was inactive this week, but he made the extra point after that. And so the 49ers are up with 37 seconds left. The Green Bay Packers have no timeouts. And so let's fast forward to Aaron Rodgers and his magic. On the first play of Rodgers' drive, give credit to DeMeco Ryans. I think he schemed this play up perfectly because you see Deommodore Lenoir and Emmanuel Moseley about 7 yards away from both receivers, which is good because if they want to go out of bounds, it's only like 7-8 yards, so it's not a big deal. And they're also going to be covering the boundaries. You'll see how they shift toward the boundaries to force the receivers inside. So that's the point because you want to make sure they keep wasting clock with that 37 seconds left. Dante Johnson here, you'll see that he's in a zone. So he's going to be covering the flat. He's right now aligned with Randall Cobb. So they're showing a man look, but he's going to be covering the flat. Azeez Al-Shire, he'll be locked on to Robert Tonyan. And Deommodore Lenoir, he's got Alan Lazard out here. Fred Warner here is the mistake. You'll see what Fred Warner does. But since Dante Johnson covers the flat, he's going to transition off of Randall Cobb, meaning that Fred Warner will see Randall Cobb run up right across the seam. And I'm not saying that Fred Warner should tail Randall Cobb. That's not true because Cobb is going to go out towards the outside. But he should at least back up alongside Randall Cobb so that he sets up near where Randall Cobb breaks off because that's toward the middle of the field, which is Fred Warner's zone, especially since the 49ers are playing a deep zone. You'll see as they transition. Right here, Dante Johnson is going to Basically, if Devontae Adams ran an out route, that's where Dante Johnson belongs. If uh, Randall Cobb ran a curl route, that's where Dante Johnson belongs. But he's in the flat, so that means that as Randall Cobb is running across the seam, that's Fred Warner's responsibility here. And right there, Devontae Adams is going to sneak around. I'll show the replay, but he sneaks around past Fred Warner because he wasn't deep enough. You'll see it. So looking at it from this side, you see both safeties. Jimmy Ward is on the right side at the 40-yard line. Jaquiski Tartt on the left side at the 40-yard line. And Aaron Rodgers, he sees this kind of like this scheme. So Aaron Jones here, he's outside, but he's going to serve as a blocker on this play. Randall Cobb is going to run across the seam, and he's going to go out around near the 45 to 50-yard line. He's going to break outside. So that means that Mosley, who's on the outside, and Jimmy Ward, that's their responsibility toward the outside there. Devontae Adams is going to run this inside route. He's going to go about 20 yards down the field, and then he's going to cut toward the inside. So you'll see that happen. So Mosley tails him up until that 40, 45-yard line, but then he cuts inside. Where's the falter on this play? Well, Fred Warner should have been tailing Randall Cobb as he ran up into that 40-yard line zone and then settled across the middle of the field where Devontae Adams originally goes, because that's the main part of the field where they're looking. Devontae Adams is the number one target, obviously, but they're also looking to get a big play. So it's fine leaving this middle, 15, 20 yards up until the 40 open, because you can make open field tackles. You don't want to give up that big play, and you'll see how this goes. You see Randall Cobb running right there. Fred Warner realizes right now that he's too far. He's basically too far forward because no receiver is in his area at all. You see Robert Tonyan, he's going to an out route. Lazard is going to be covered well by Lenoir, and then if he cuts, because Lenoir's got the boundary, Jaquiski Tartt has the inside. So Lazard is covered well there, but there's nobody in this area, and also it's also Dante Johnson's area because he's got the flat. So Fred Warner here should have ran with Randall Cobb, who's going to break out. And then right here, right as you see it, that's Devontae Adams right there. Fred Warner's just a little too in front, and Devontae Adams sneaks through. Because you see Mosley, he's tailing back to cover Randall Cobb, and that's where the first falter on this defense comes. Now comes the second play of this drive. This resulted in an incompletion to Adams, but I thought it was fairly well covered. You'll see Lenoir and Mosley about 6 yards off their defender, which is fine in this instant because they come up and they cover their defenders. Well, Shire is now locked on to Devontae Adams, and basically the point is force Devontae Adams again inside because there's only 20 seconds left. The clock is running. Clock isn't running at this moment because Rodgers spiked, but only 20 seconds left, no timeouts. You want the ball to go toward the inside of the field. So let's see how this runs out. You see that there's an incompletion, but what's the most important part? There are 3 49ers in the area, Ward, Warner, and Alshire. So even if that ball was on target, there's no telling if Devontae Adams catches that just due to the amount of people around him. Now fast forwarding to the third play on the drive. 3rd and 10, well, technically 4th if you include the spike. Here's where the problem is. Lenoir on the far side is giving just a little too much space because now he's not lined up against, I forget who was on the last play. I think it was MVS, but rather Devontae Adams. What's the one thing? You need to make sure that Devontae Adams does not create space because of his route running ability, so you should not be able to give him space. Jimmy Ward already is misaligned because you'll see that as the play clock runs and as he's snapping, as Rodgers is snapping the ball, Jimmy Ward is not in place. He's trying to serve right now as the middle linebacker because there's a deep safety with Talanoa Hufanga and a deep safety with Jaquiski Tartt. Talanoa Hufanga on the far side, Jaquiski Tartt on the near side. Dante Johnson is going to cover Randall Cobb in the slot. Mosley's got Lazard down below. The problem here is actually on D'Amico Ryans and his scheme because the safeties should not be this far back. You can't even see them right now. Both of them are actually on the 35-yard line when this play starts. They're going to tail back to the 25-yard line and only come up at the end of this play, giving Devontae Adams way too much room, especially since Lenoir is already playing soft coverage. You see the other 2 cornerbacks, they're playing within 3 yards. Dante Johnson is 3 yards in, and that's the only reason that he's doing that is because he knows Jimmy Ward's got his back in the slot. Jimmy Ward, though, he should be covering Robert Tonyan on this play. He's a little far off, and they're lucky that Tonyan basically blocks to start. He blocks Steve Ford to kind of start this play, which is why Tonyan's delayed on his crosser route. And when you look at this, Diamondor Lenore is at the 30-yard line. Davante Adams caught this at the 34. Let's take another look. There it is. Talanoa Hufanga is already at the 25-yard line when this play is basically in Davante Adams' hands. Diamondor Lenore is at the 30. This loose coverage should not be happening, especially when the Green Bay Packers only needed 15 yards, right? If you get to the 35, if you get to the 36, it's a makeable field goal for Mason Crosby, who's made like 57-yard field goals. And especially with 13 seconds left, you don't want him to be this open. If Davante Adams is this open with 4 yards of separation, he can easily go down, and the Green Bay Packers can definitely stop the clock with a spike. But instead, if you have tight coverage on him, you force the incompletion, or you make Davante Adams work to go down, which wastes more clock, which is a huge deal here, especially with 13 seconds left and no timeouts. So the problem here, it's on D'Amico Ryans for basically the loose coverage idea on both players. If you're having this loose coverage on Lenore, you need to make sure that Hufanga is near the play. He's got to be at least 10 yards forward because that's where the play is going. And then in addition, you need to make sure, first of all, Diamondor Lenore should not be playing 7 yards behind Davante Adams on this play. Nobody on the first 3 plays, apart from the first play, nobody's really be playing that far off on Davante Adams, so that's a problem. And you saw the other receivers; they were within 3 yards of separation, so that separation is super key here. Davante Adams, he gets a free shot at the ball. Basically, he's going to obviously make that catch, and now with the amount of free time that they have, they're allowed to spike the ball. And now there are 3 seconds left with a very doable field goal because that's at the 34-yard line, a 51-yard field goal. Mason Crosby is going to hit this one to win the game. Looking at it, 51, crowd is going wild, but it's going to be right down the middle. And the Green Bay Packers win 30-28. I basically cried after this loss. Pretty sad loss. Jimmy Garoppolo definitely did it, but Aaron Rodgers and his boom wow pow, whatever he just did right there, they win. Oh, wait, but before we end this breakdown, we got to look at this huge moment right here. Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur. Apparently they got beef, and look at this. They just decide, okay, we're just going to give a quick pat on the back. Matt LaFleur with his huge, F you basically face. And so that's a pretty cool moment just to end this game. Kyle Shanahan knows he just got beat. So great moment there. Both teams ended up 2-1. 49ers lost this weekend. They moved to 2-2, and now they're 4th in the division. That's going to do it for me. Make sure that you drop a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll be back with more content. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.